Let's go to snowy New England. Tom Brady and the throwbacks. Cortland Finnegan, Nick Harper, and Vincent Fuller all out in the secondary for the Titans.
You setting up something.
It's already 10-0 when we got a flea flicker to Tom Brady, who finds Randy Moss for the first pass of over 40 yards of the season. And Brady and Moss were just getting started in this quarter alone. A minute later, they got the ball back. Brady airing it out to Moss again, 28 yards.
That's two.
Why not?
That's
Nobody
with 9 minutes to go in the quarter.
One-on-one, he wins every time.
Patriots have the ball back with 6.5 minutes to go in the quarter. Brady dumps it to Kevin Falk, and
nice blocking now.
like
Come on, big fella.
Football touchdown.
Offense has the advantage in snow.
31-0.
It's not true.
Yeah. It's now, how much left in the half? 2 minutes to go in the half. More than enough time for Brady to find Wes Welker for his second time of the game. Wide open. 38-0. 17 seconds left till halftime. More than enough time for Brady to shoehorn in his 5th touchdown pass of the quarter.
I love Wes Welker.
That's a record for any quarter ever.
5 touchdowns, Rich.
In one quarter. And in the second half, 45-0.
Is that all?
The Hoodie sends his quarterback out back.
One more series. That's okay. One more series.
He's making up for last week.
One more series.
He's mad
Third
about
one.
last week.
See if you can get anything done.
Brady to Moss.
That's 3 for Moss.
52-0.
That's why you should have came back, senior. Say Al.
Yeah, I mean, say Al.
They bring Vince, don't bring me out here now.
It's 59-0. That's when they bring Vince Young out.
And this is what Vince does.
You think he was a little chilly?
You think he was mad?
Combined, he and Collins threw as many completions to Patriots as Titans.
Super Bowl 48 here in New Jersey. When it was all said and done, kickoff at 49 degrees, 10 degrees warmer than Super Bowl 6. So the supposed cold weather Super Bowl wasn't even the coldest on record. And the Seahawks won the toss but put their defense out on the field.
That set the tone right there to let you know we come to play, and we come to play defense first.
And then the first snap of the game goes into the end zone. It looked like Peyton Manning was audibling, but the center snaps the football. No Sean Marino hops on it 12 seconds into the game.
And the 12 men already had an effect.
The 12 man, 12 seconds into the game leads to 2 points. Right off the bat, the quickest score in the history of the Super Bowl, as Manny Ramirez snapped it before Manning was ready. Next Seahawks possession with some quality field position. Here's Percy Harvin around the edge. We were wondering what factor he would be. 30 quick yards right there in the first quarter.
Difference, Rich. He made a huge difference. He stretched that defense wide and let Marshawn Lynch hit him in the middle.
But the Broncos defense held him to just 3. It's 5-0 later in the first quarter when that's Doug Baldwin 37 yards. But again, the Broncos defense did not break. It's just 8-0. So Peyton Manning has a chance to march down the field and just make it a 1-point game, except on 3rd and 7, he throws it high to Cam Chancellor.
Bad throw, bad read, great play by Cam Chancellor.
Pressured by Cliff Averill.
And I thought I started sensing intimidation right around here this
You're
early.
right, Mike.
This early.
I mean, you got a nice lane. You stepped up in the pocket. Misread that. Is a horrible throw.
And the effort by Julius, I mean, maybe he was in a bad position, or maybe there was some pain coming.
And that turnover would be turned into points thanks to a pass interference call in the end zone. Seattle fans have remember Super Bowls where the pass interference in the end zone was called on their receiver, not the defender. That put the ball on the 1-yard line this time, and then Marshawn Lynch, there's that action boss right up the middle for the touchdown. 15-0 Seattle. So it's time for Denver to do something positive, and they are on the plus side of the field with 3 minutes to go in the half when Manning is hit as he throws. Malcolm Smith with the pick, and it's a pick 6 for Malcolm Smith, 22-0, Marshall.
You know, Kurt Warner talked about Peyton throwing interceptions and how it would affect his game. It was the one thing that could not happen if Denver was going to win. And guess what? A pick 6 really changed the landscape of this game.
Cliff Averill was getting to Manning that got him to throw it and hit his arm as he threw it, and Manning down 22 points right before the half, maybe get some points before the half with a minute to go in the half, but Peyton Manning cannot complete to Demaryius Thomas. 22-0 was your score when Bruno Mars took the stage, but Third quarter,
Bruno did a
Seattle,
great job,
remember Seattle deferred.
Yep.
Now they get the ball, and Percy Harvin is gone out the gate. Guess what, Prime?
What?
It was just 12 seconds into this half that they scored 2.
We see this catching the ball off the bounce, and normally when the ball bounces, it migrates all the defensive players together, and that's all Percy Harvin needed.
87 yards, the 12th man watching them score 12 seconds into each half of Super Bowl 48. Peyton Manning down 29-0, trying to go for all. Demaryius Thomas
offensive
broken
pass
up.
interference as well.
And that was just perfect position by Richard.
That was offensive pass interference. They should have called that.
Yeah, we talked about that matchup and who would win, and Sherman played very well today.
So Peyton now 29-0, 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. There's a nice catch by Demaryius Thomas, except he doesn't hold on to the ball, and who's on the spot but Malcolm Smith.
You want to call that sloppy play, but when you look at the replay, such a great play by Max, heads-up play by Maxwell right there. That's what you need to do. Every time the Broncos seem like they got it going, the ball bounced the other way.
It was turnover Thursday is what they practiced. Turnover Thursday.
And the play fake to Marshawn Lynch after the turnover. What a throw. Russell Wilson to Lockett, 19-yard gain. Next play on the Broncos 23. It's time for Wilson to go find himself some curse on 1st and 10. 23 yards.
And this kid is one of those kids undrafted that you heard Richard Sherman talk about. Nobody wanted him. Pete Carroll takes him in, and look what happens. And it doesn't matter who Russell Wilson is throwing the football to. They all put their bodies on the line, they make those catches. And the run after the catch is always special for them.
And it's 36-0. You know what's a factor of 36? 12. There's 12s everywhere. 36-0 when finally the Broncos get on the board with no time left in the third quarter to make it 36-7. So we would not have a shutout in Super Bowl 48. It's 36-8 as Demaryius Thomas sets the records for most receptions in a Super Bowl. But Doug Baldwin, your X factor from the NFC Championship game, Marshall.
I love this kid, man.
Made it a 40-burger in Super Bowl 48.
Everything that they do with Percy Harvin, this kid can do it. Every time Percy's out, he steps in, whether it's in a return game or receiver, and delivers for the Seahawks.
And Richard Sherman finished the game on crutches. Pete Carroll is a Super Bowl winning head coach, getting a hug from Russell Wilson, who he drafted in the third round just 2 years ago. And that man has still one Super Bowl ring, while Malcolm Smith has a Super Bowl MVP and a trophy to boot. So how about them apples? All of these turnovers, a torrent of turnovers, 4 of them by Denver, as the Seattle Seahawks come into MetLife Stadium and score on a kickoff return for a touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a passing touchdown. Pretty much every which way you can put it in for 6. The Seattle Seahawks did that tonight in Super Bowl 48, and it is time for the 12s in Super Bowl 48 to celebrate.
Let's go! It's time to do it! It's time to do it, baby! This is what we've been waiting for!
You couldn't have written a better script for the 14-2 Jaguars' run to the Super Bowl following the 1999 season, the one that brought Miami to Alltel Stadium for a divisional playoff game. After all, the Dolphins were the heritage team in the state of Florida and still had legions of fans in what had become Jaguars territory. The Jaguars were confident that they were the better team, but what unfolded on that field that afternoon was beyond anything that anyone could imagine.
Hey, listen up! Hey, this is our house! We win in this stadium! Let's take it today! Every play counts! Let's dominate! Everybody kick the crap out all day long! What's the point on the board? Jack on 3, 1, 2, 3, go! Let's go!
Mark Brunell's opening drive touchdown pass to Jimmy Smith gave the crowd reason to shout. Those shouts would become increasingly louder and more boastful as Aaron Beasley intercepted Dan Marino on the very next play.
First down, and he will throw. Mile play action goes left, intercepted by Aaron Beasley. Picked off by Beasley. And the problems persist for Dan Marino.
That's it, baby. That's where you started, baby. That's where you started right there, baby.
And Mike Hollis made it a 10-0 score.
Just outside the 35, so a 45-yard effort is good.
5 plays later, and Alltel Stadium was a sea of hysterical fans, except on one sideline where the Dolphins were in shock.
But he knows he doesn't have a big play team, and Jacksonville does. Taylor skips 2 tackles, and here we go. Bye-bye. Brock Marion chasing. Brock Marion still chasing. Gets help from Smith. Touchdown. No flags. A 90-yard run.
He is so special, boy. Look at that. That's unbelievable.
It seemed as if the fun would never end.
Look at the disparity in yardage. 171-yard difference. Marino hit from the backside. Fumbled the ball. Oh, Lord, Jacksonville has it. And this ball is live. This is still live. And finally, he rumbles toward the end zone. That's a touchdown. Oh,
It was 24-0 at the end of the first quarter, and 42-7 at the end of the first half. Everyone got in on the action, with Jay Fiedler matching Mark Brunell's 2 touchdown passes in the second half.
There's a collision. There's a catch. Elvis with it. Perfect. This is unbelievable. The automatic sprinkler system has come on the goal line. Absolutely perfect.
The scoreboard read 62-7, and the history books revealed the second largest margin of victory in NFL playoff history when the game was complete. It was, and remains to this day, the most perfect game the Jaguars have ever played.
Before the start of Super Bowl 24, Tom Rathman delivered an impromptu speech.
We know we're the best team. Let's just go out and prove it today. We got to play hard, play within your limits. Let's go out and kick some out. Black 59 Razor! Black 59 Razor! 49
On the 49ers' opening possession, Jerry Rice landed a telling blow by surviving one.
The thing that we had noticed about the safeties, they didn't wrap up. They tried to deliver the blow. Atwater tried to unload on me, and I was able to bounce off that and score a touchdown.
They were a pretty good defense. I had the fewest points scored against them throughout the regular season. Fewest points scored against them, and we put up 55 points.
Launches it for the end zone! Jerry Rice!
Everything was just as sharp and as precise as I could ever imagine.
Perfect pass to Jerry Rice.
There were times when I would look and I'd be in awe myself of some of the things that they were doing. Think about Joe and the precision with which he did everything. You don't see that. I don't know if I've seen it since.
On a rare play when Montana was off target, Rathman made a sensational catch, setting up the first of his 2 short yardage touchdowns, an achievement that left him unfazed.
A lot of people say, oh, what was it like scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl? Nah, I don't know. I mean, it's just another play. It wasn't that important to me to score a touchdown. I mean, I could have been throwing a block on a play. I mean, the bottom line is win and win as a team.
Throws for the end zone. Taylor! Touchdown 49!
With a Super Bowl record 5 touchdown passes, the choice of an MVP was as simple as a 1980s dot matrix printer.
Joe Montana could very well be his 3rd Super Bowl MVP award. The 49ers have brought the quality of football in the NFL to really a new level.
What I remember from the Super Bowl, you got grown men, and it's just like we are little kids again. You know, you see the tears, and you see everybody just hugging each other. You see the coaches, and you see the owner just running around like a little kid.
Damn you. Congratulations for everything.
That's something I'll never forget.
Packers. Aaron Rodgers, 4-1 since he told everybody to chillax. And he did, playing with that bad hammy. 4th and goal, he's going for it and finding Brandon Bostic, his 3rd-string tight end. They went to the 3rd-string tight end out of the gate. You knew it was going to be a long night for Chicago on that. Wow. As far as Jay Cutler, when he throws a pick, they stink. When he doesn't, they win. Okay, I got it. And so does Micah Hyde, who says, I got it. You know, Cutler's 1-10 all-time against Green Bay, including the playoffs, which is not a good mark.
That ball is so late and behind the receiver.
And flat.
Man.
4 plays later, 3rd and 1, Rodgers outraces Willie Young. He's had a good year, actually. And Andrew Corliss. He catches it.
Is he the number 1 tight end or number 2?
Yeah, it's a great call.
Just trying to find out.
Yeah, so it's 14-zip. Second quarter, this is where it gets really ugly for the Bears because you had receivers running free in the secondary by 15 yards like Jordy Nelson.
If it was any other receiver, fine. That's Jordy Nelson. He targets this man double-digit times each game. Crazy.
6 catches, $152. By the way, Rodgers has an NFL record, 16 touchdown passes of 70 or more yards. That one went 73. I'd be laughing too, guys. Next Packers drive, it's Rodgers, Nelson, and watch the footwork here.
This was, has any quarterback in the history of this game, Marshall, been more accurate on the run than Aaron Rodgers?
And make it look effortless throwing the ball down the field when running.
Jared Allen trying to get the troops going. I don't know if that's a players-only meeting or not, but okay, it didn't work. It's 28-zip, and then we're going to swing it out to Eddie Lacy, and let's let our
right
offensive lineman.
This is a heartbreaker right here. Because Eddie Lacy is not that fast. The minute that back cutter, I've been that back. Those D linemen should be hustling to get to that ball. Once they realize, oh, they let me get to the quarterback, it's a screen.
That's 5 touchdown passes for Rodgers. We still have time in the first half. Then Jay Cutler knocked down by the old Bear Julius Peppers, who also recovers it. So with the minute to go, he's still got time.
That's payback right there.
And you know what that means? Aaron Rodgers has a 6-pack of touchdown passes in the first half. That's to Randall Cobb. Only Darryl LaMonica back in 1969 pulled off that feat.
You know what we call that? Milwaukee's best.
Oh, I see you working. There are a few Bears fans reaching for that. Believe you me. 6 touchdown passes in the first half. Third quarter, rookie punter Pat O'Connell is on.
I have not, man, I've been in this game 45 years. Man and boy, I have never, ever seen this.
Jared Boykin kicks it before the punter does.
I have never, ever seen that.
Oh, gosh. Stop.
We got to revisit that one.
Rodgers, by the way, getting pummeled with his team up 42-0. Remember, he's got a bad hammy. Not the smartest thing, but he's trying to tie the NFL record with his 7 touchdown pass, and it doesn't happen. They had to settle for a field goal. And then he was done.
Playing against him in fantasy.
No.
That should be a 50-point game in fantasy.
Fourth quarter, it went from bad to worse for Brandon Marshall. Actually had a solid game. 8 catches, $112 and a score, but this one injures his ankle and would not return.
Praying for you, B-Mark.
Yep. So it's a final. 55-14. If you didn't hear me earlier, they joined the 1923 Rochester Jeffersons to the Bears, being the second team ever in NFL history to allow consecutive 50 burgers.
Skelton's throw to Fitzgerald. Battled for and knocked away. And it looks like Bobby Wagner has the football. And Wagner knocked down inside the 25 of Arizona.
Larry Fitzgerald, he's in position to get the first down. Not a real accurate throw. You saw Thurman got his hand on it. Then K.J. Wright ripped it out. Right here, you'll see K.J. Wright pull at it. It goes down. Thurman hits it with his left hand, bounces right into the breadbasket for Bobby Wagner, who takes it down inside the 14-yard line.
Patrick Peterson is in on offense. The throw goes to Patrick Peterson, who gets up the sideline. Kind of a nifty move. The talented cornerback who has not had a punt return for a touchdown this year, but had 4 last year, so he's got breakaway speed.
And if you've lost 8 games in a row, what do you have to lose? And put him in there at slot receiver.
And Lynch carries. Look at Russell Wilson out there blocking for him. Can you believe this? It's a touchdown. A 20-yard touchdown run. Marshawn Lynch leading the way, his quarterback. Marshawn Lynch with 6 rushes, 50 yards already and a touchdown. His energy, you know, he loves those Skittles, that little colored candy, and during the game he keeps them. See, they got the antacids, the eye care, and that's the secret formula that keeps Marshawn Lynch rolling like the beast he is.
I'll call that last touchdown a sugar rush.
And that beast mode is, he said, it's not just a nickname, it's a lifestyle. Wilson keeps. Wide open is McCord. Anthony McCord. All the way the 5-yard line. First and goal from the 4-yard line after a 67-yard pass play to Anthony McCoy. Marshawn Lynch. Can he get another touchdown? Yes, he can. Skelton from his own end zone, and it's intercepted. There goes Richard Sherman. That is a touchdown.
I think we'll give him a big chance to return this. You'll see a lot of hang time and directional punting.
He fumbles the football, and the Seahawks bat it around, and they have a touchdown. Malcolm Smith in the end zone. 11 seconds remaining and 2 timeouts. Floater. Zach Miller. Touchdown Seahawks. And the 20th touchdown pass for rookie Russell Wilson. He's gone from a caretaker to taking care of everything on offense.
Watch this move as he's going to go inside, but he ends up bouncing back behind Paris Lennon. Paris Lennon loses him right there, and it's over.
As Lynch carries, and Marshawn Lynch. He might go. He could go. He did go. Leon Washington and untouched into the end zone. A record-setting run for the littlest Seahawk, standing at 5'8". And the Seahawks are pouring it on.
They really missed Dan Williams, too, right in the middle of that defense. And they have since he hurt his hamstring earlier in the game. David Carter had no chance of making the play in the backfield there on Leon Washington untouched.
And Painter isn't ready for the snap. And the Saints get the first early break. There's a flag down as Painter, as the play clock was ticking down to 0, wasn't ready for the snap. All kinds of confusion in lining up. Recovered by Jonathan Vilma.
You saw Joe Wrights there, the left guard, reach over and tap Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday is not even looking back. When Joe Wrights taps Jeff Saturday, that means snap the football, whether or not the quarterback is ready or not. So really the miscommunication was with Joe Wrights over here. There you go. That means snap it.
And changing personnel. Now they go to Thomas in the backfield. Breeze with a lot of time to the end zone. He goes, and it's a touchdown. Second and goal. Breeze to the end zone, and that is caught for a touchdown by Colston.
This place is a little crazy for the no huddle and a young quarterback right now.
Agreed. Very surprising the way they came out. Carter, and he gets taken down, and the ball is loose. The ball is loose. Of course, as is customary, the other team always says, we've got it, we've got it. It certainly has that look. Confirmed. Second and goal as Breeze again has time and throws, and that's caught by Sproles for a touchdown. Second and goal. Ingram is the back. And they give it to the up back. That's Jed Collins, a much traveled free agent pickup, and now they're going to say that he gets in.
The question is, was the knee down first before the reach? Kind of hard to tell from that angle, but it's hard to imagine that it wasn't.
Meanwhile, on second down and goal with 2 minutes, the ball is handed off to Carter, and he gets into the end zone. Ready, what's up? First and goal. Breeze trying to go up and over 300, and Graham helps him out by making the catch and getting into the end zone. So it goes into the rushing numbers for Sproles and not the passing numbers for Breeze, and Breeze to Graham for the jump ball and the touchdown.
How much Carolina tape have you watched? Because Cam Newton is changing that a little bit now too.
Sproles stays on his feet, gets to the end zone. 6 years ago, and beautiful to see it lighted the way it is, refurbished, and the town sparkling on a Sunday night. Their football team is having a heck of an evening. And it continues as the pass is picked off by Lee Torrance. And Lee Torrance is inside the 10. Touchdown.
They end up checking out of this thing when they see him dropping out. And you'll see Lee Torrance, I believe, right there, just playing center field, and that one sailed on Curtis Painter. Accuracy issues were a big reason why they felt like they had to make the move to Kerry Collins, and it reared its ugly head there, and it is party time in New Orleans.
To the 1940 NFL Championship game, where the Chicago Bears beat Washington 73-0. Not only is this the most one-sided blowout in championship game history for the NFL, but it's the most one-sided game period in all of NFL history. So these two teams must have just been on entirely different levels, right? For a blowout this big to happen in the finals, no less, this must have just been a total mismatch, of course, right? Surprisingly, that's not the case at all. Not only did Washington have a better regular season record than Chicago that year, but Washington had actually beaten Chicago 3 weeks earlier in a game that ended 7-3, which in itself is hilarious when you compare it to the 73-0 loss. In a moment that should only exist in movies, after the 7-3 regular season win, Washington's coach allegedly told reporters that the Chicago Bears players were just a bunch of crybabies and quitters. Of course, a few weeks later when they met in the finals, Chicago's coach George Halas used these comments as motivation for his team to stomp their opponents in this blowout of a game. Let's take a look at this game, because honestly, it was a mess from the start. Chicago scored a touchdown on their second play of the game, a 68-yard run by their running back. By the end of the first quarter, Chicago would score 2 more times for a 21-0 lead after only 15 minutes of play. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, Chicago had a 54-0 lead, and with an attempt at mercy, the Bears coach pulled most of his starting lineup out of the game, yet the backups continued to score until the very end, en route to this silly 73-0 victory. Chicago actually scored so many times that the game had to be finished with practice balls because too many regulation footballs had been kicked into the stands during extra point field goals. The silliest thing of it all, though, may be how much the NFL has changed financially. The ticket sales for that game hit what was at the time a record-breaking $102,000.